on purpose, he's been consciously eating less and losing weight, and so now he's just jumping over. He looks like he could jump over a building.
Wow.
He's crazy. And me, I'm trying my hardest just to get big all the time, get big, you know, lift weights and eat.
Wow. Do you think you're actually putting on weight though, or no?
No, I'm just.
I don't think so.
I'm just running on the treadmill, trying to keep it. I just don't want to lose weight. That's yeah.
Well, that's good. I mean, you're definitely healthy, you know, all around healthy. And that's, you know, the most important thing than anything else. Okay, here's the other question. So who's a better basketball player, you or your brother?
Wow. You know, when I was young, I started playing basketball first, and my brother originally was a soccer player. And
oh, he was a soccer player.
Yeah, he liked soccer. Like, this is elementary school. And then, so we started off like that, and then later on, my parents were like, pick one sport. So I picked basketball, and then Eric decided to play basketball as well. And Eric's always been an athlete, way more athletic than me. But I would say as kids, I always got more recognition because when my practice would be done, I'm tall for my age, so I'd play center. I would go to Eric's practice and practice with them. And then they're 2 years older, so I was a small guy. So I learned every position. So I would play point guard with my brother because I was a shorty. And then with my own people, you know, I would be the center.
Right.
So at a younger age, I had way more skills than my brother. But now, I mean, my brother, he's born to play basketball. I mean, he's an athlete, and now that he's got all the skills as well, ooh, it's tough to say. I don't want to say that my brother's better than me, but it's tough to argue with that.
What's the last time you guys played together? Not on a real court, but just together, just playing basketball together.
Just for fun?
Just for fun.
We haven't played, in Korea you really don't have time to play for fun as much, but we just had a game against each other. And every time we have a game against each other, it's always like they'll interview us before the game and be like, oh, who's going to win? What are you going to do? And it's always fun, and my team actually won, so I was happy about that. And I had a really good first half, and I was beating my brother in the first half. And then the second half, my brother just came out crazy, like on beast mode, and did really well. But, you know, important thing is my team won this time. But, you know, it goes back and forth.
Yeah.
It goes back and forth.
So you've also, you've played each other before in different teams.
Yeah. Well, our whole thing is we've always tried to play together because...
on the same team.
Yeah. In high school, I think we transferred... I transferred high schools 3 times to try to be with my brother. And then we got recruited by different schools. But then I ended up going to my brother's school. I followed my brother to his school. And then when he transferred, I transferred with him. And then when Eric went to Europe, he brought me over to Europe. And so I got jobs. We ended up playing in a tiny country called Luxembourg together. And then Eric decided to come home. I came home. And then it's funny because, you know, he's older, so he's always been blazing the path. But then with Korea, at the time my brother was trying to go to the NBA, and he was doing camps with the Spurs, the Lakers, the Sacramento Kings. And at that time, people were asking him to go to Korea. And then he recommended me. So Korea is actually a place where I went first. So I came first, and then 3 years later, my brother came.
So you are the pioneer. You are, okay, even though your brother's older, you would be considered the 선배 in this industry.
Yes, I would be a 선배 to my brother.
Okay, so let's take it back to when you first came to Korea. What was that like?
Well, in my head, what Korea was, because I'd come with my family on vacation. You know, vacation is vacation. It's all happy, and everyone's like, oh, you're so, you know, everyone's giving you 용돈, and like, you know, everyone's so happy to see you. And then when you come, and I mean, this is a totally different thing. I'm with Korean people that don't know me. And they're kind of looking at me with suspicion. They're like, why is this guy coming to take our jobs? You know, kind of like that. So it's tough to make friends and in that kind of a atmosphere. But yeah, I mean, when I first came to Korea, I didn't really know Korean culture, and I couldn't speak the language. So, but yeah, now I've kind of figured it out to a certain degree, so it's a lot better now.
I mean, what was it like? Because I do know that in sports, it's very, the 선배 and 후배 system, the Korean culture of that is very severe. So how did you handle that? I mean, now you're pretty much a 선배 in the industry.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's not a lot of people older than me, which is...
But when you first came, being a 후배 and a foreigner at that time... Right. What was that like?
Oh, it was really weird. And I played all over the world, all over America. And I've always been very, I like hanging out with people. I get along pretty much with everybody. But in Korea, it was like the first time I wasn't friends with my teammates. And it was really, because a lot of them looked at me like, they went through the whole Korean system, and then I went through a totally different system and just came in to their system. They're like, who's this guy coming into our flock? And so I get it. But yeah, at first it was hard to make friends. I mean, obviously I couldn't speak Korean very well at that time too. And every guy older than me pretty much took a pass at me, was like, try to put me in check, be like, hey, look, this is how it works in Korea. And everybody would, kind of give me their version of that. But in the end, I'm friends with, I get along with everybody. So
that's great. Then you started off, calling as a respect. You called them hyungs and things like this.
Yeah, I tried my best to do everything that they asked of me. When I first came, I don't know the system, and I just figure, hey, I'm in a place where I don't know the laws, I don't know the rules, so if you guys want me to do something, I'm willing to try to adapt. And I think in Korea, coming over here, because there's been a lot of people that have tried to come for basketball, and a lot of people, I think being able to be a little bit pliable and be willing to compromise and being able to, the faster you can adapt, I think more than your basketball skills, I think that's more of a key factor in determining your success in Korea.
Yeah,
I would say.
Now, there must have been a situation where maybe you might have been a little better than some of your 선배s.
Right.
But you had the mental attitude that everyone has to play their hardest. But if you kind of outshow a 선배, would this be kind of different? What would happen in that situation?
I've been in a lot of funny situations. I remember when I was playing with Yeonse대학교 one time, we had a game against a pro team. So obviously I'm finished with school. I've played pro in Europe and I'm here, but they still look at me as a college team because I'm playing with the college team.
Right.
And I remember we were having a practice game and I was doing really well. Like I had 20 points in I think the first quarter of the game. And some of the older guys started coming at me and saying like, hey, take it easy. Why are you going so hard? It's a practice game. You're making us look bad in front of the coach. And I didn't get it because in America it's like you just play hard, you know.
Everybody plays hard.
Everybody just plays hard, and there's not a big 선후배 thing. It's like it doesn't matter when you're playing basketball. And so then they started kind of trying to rough me up a little bit. So I think that was my first introduction into stuff like that. But at the pro level, we're all pros, and at the end of the game, at the end of the day, everybody is just trying to do their best for their team. So.